SKALD Oxydynamic Fat Scorcher promises to revolutionize your workout routine, bombarding you with fancy-sounding chemicals and scientific jargon as part of their marketing strategy. But is there any truth behind these bold claims? In this analysis, we'll delve deeper into SKALD, cutting through the flashy packaging to uncover what this supplement can truly offer. So let's get to the bottom of it and discover whether SKALD can deliver on its promises. Let's take a look at the ingredients. Here are the doses per capsule. The recommended dosing is 2 capsules per day. When it comes to supplements, the proprietary blend label can be a red flag for discerning customers. This term essentially means that the manufacturer doesn't have to reveal the specific amounts of each ingredient contained within the product. While the ingredients themselves may be listed on the label, the lack of transparency can make it difficult to know exactly how much of each ingredient you're actually getting. In many cases, proprietary blends are utilized as a sneaky marketing tactic to conceal subpar ingredients or exaggerate the product's value. That's why it's crucial to steer clear of supplements that rely on proprietary blends and instead opt for products that have clear labeling and dosage information. After all, you deserve to know exactly what you're putting into your body. Nevertheless, we're going to analyze what we do know from each ingredient to see whether they contain a sufficient dose, whether it contains the active compounds to work, and how effective they may be for weight loss. Then at the very end, I'll look into cheaper alternatives and give the supplement an overall rating. If you're in the market for supplements that promise to melt fat away, chances are high that caffeine will be a mainstay ingredient. Indeed, caffeine is one of the most commonly used substances in such products. But here's the catch. While caffeine can indeed help with weight loss, it's most effective when used in conjunction with exercise. By cranking up the intensity and frequency of your workouts, caffeine can give your fat-burning efforts an extra boost. However, if you're not already exercising on a regular basis, caffeine alone may not do much to move the needle on the scale. Their supplement contains 220 milligrams of caffeine, which packs the same punch as approximately 2.5 cups of coffee. Let's look into SKALD's claim about this ingredient and see what they have to say. They claim that their caffeine anhydrous is more potent than standard caffeine. However, this claim is somewhat misleading. Pure caffeine is almost always utilized in its anhydrous form in dried supplements or powders, so the comparison to standard caffeine doesn't hold much weight. If you're taking any caffeine supplement, it has to be caffeine anhydrous. It's not like they chose a more effective form of caffeine. Tyrosine is an amino acid that has gained popularity in supplements that claim to improve memory and focus, especially for studying purposes. However, to achieve these effects, a relatively high dosage of tyrosine is necessary. We're talking gram amounts, not milligrams. The problem is that many supplements, including SKALD, fall short of this standard, making their tyrosine content essentially useless. So even though SKALD boasts mood-boosting properties, it won't have much effect due to the meager dosage. Green tea has long been touted as a key ingredient in weight loss supplements due to the presence of certain compounds, notably EGCG. However, while these compounds are said to support weight loss efforts, the reality is that their effects on fat metabolism are relatively weak, and it's unlikely that they will result in significant weight loss on their own. Interestingly, green tea extracts also contain a small amount of caffeine, and research has indicated that it's the caffeine content that may provide more of the weight loss benefits than the other compounds. And when it comes to SKALD, things get even murkier. The problem lies in the fact that SKALD only lists catechins, which is a general term encompassing various compounds. Of these, only the catechin EGCG has weak evidence to support its potential role in fat metabolism, not the other catechins. This means that SKALD may not even provide the meager benefits associated with EGCG in the first place. Also, while EGCG may have some potential to support fat metabolism, claiming that it's a fat-burning powerhouse is a gross exaggeration of how it actually works. Juniper is an herb that has long been utilized to address digestive troubles, and it's also reputed to have anti-inflammatory properties. However, despite its historical use, there's unfortunately not much scientific research available to support its efficacy for these purposes. As a result, we don't have any concrete scientific evidence to suggest that juniper is actually helpful for anything at all. SKALD claims that its juniper extract can replicate the effects of DMHA, but this assertion raises several concerns. First, what exactly is DMHA? DMHA stands for dimethylhexylamine, also known as octadrene. It's an unregulated stimulant that's used by some bodybuilders to increase the intensity of their workouts by boosting cardiovascular function. However, DMHA is considered to be unsafe, and supplements containing this compound are deemed to be adulterated and are likely to receive warnings from the FDA. Furthermore, there's no evidence to suggest that Juniper has any compounds that can replicate the effects of DMHA, nor is it known to contain any such compounds. Additionally, the amount of Juniper present in SKALD is likely to be minimal, which further undermines the validity of this claim. So SKALD's statement about the Juniper extract is likely completely false and should be treated with a high amount of skepticism. The SKALD supplement also contains 3 herbs, white willow, Verbascum thapsus, and Elecampane root, that have been used for medicinal purposes throughout history. These herbs are traditionally known for a variety of therapeutic effects, such as alleviating inflammatory respiratory conditions like asthma, bronchitis, and upper respiratory tract infections. Despite their traditional use, there's no concrete scientific evidence to support these claims. When it comes to SKALD's claims, some of them seem quite far-fetched. For example, the supplement suggests that white willow can provide a massive energy boost. However, this claim appears to be baseless, as white willow is traditionally used for its anti-inflammatory properties, not its energizing effects. I don't think it even has energizing effects. Similarly, the manufacturer claims that Elecampane and malign, also known as Verbascum, can soothe the lungs and improve cardiovascular health. While these are traditional uses of these herbs, there's little to no scientific evidence to support these claims. Also, herbalists typically use large amounts of these herbs to achieve any sort of effect, which is far more than what's included in SKALD. SKALD has ingredients mostly present in doses that are unlikely to cause much harm. However, it does contain a moderate amount of caffeine, and as with any caffeine supplement, it's crucial to follow the standard precautions. This means that if you are sensitive to caffeine, have cardiovascular problems, suffer from anxiety disorders or insomnia, or are taking other stimulant medications, it's critical to consult with your doctor before using this supplement. For pregnant individuals, it's best to avoid SKALD altogether. SKALD is claiming itself as the go-to supplement for workout enthusiasts, with caffeine being the star ingredient. However, caffeine's effectiveness in promoting fat loss is heavily reliant on the level and frequency of physical activity you engage in. So if you're not pushing yourself hard enough during your workouts, caffeine won't be much of a game changer. Despite claims that the other herbs in SKALD are intended to enhance breathing and support exercise, there's no good scientific evidence to back up these assertions. Additionally, the doses of these herbs are probably too small to yield any significant benefits anyways. Overall, SKALD is just a glorified caffeine supplement with maybe a small amount of green tea extract if I'm being generous. It's selling for $50 for a month's supply. Caffeine tablets are around $1 to $2 a month, and a much better quality green tea extract is about $4 a month. This means you could easily replicate what SKALD is providing you for around $5 to $6 a month. Rating SKALD by effectiveness for weight loss, I'm giving it a C. Essentially, this supplement is a simple caffeine pill. Whether or not it helps with weight loss depends on whether it can increase your exercise output. Rating it by cost, I'm giving it an F. It's pretty expensive for something that can be replicated for a few dollars. Rating it for safety, I'm giving it a C. It's important to remember that caffeine is still a stimulant that can cause problems for some people. Overall rating, I'm giving a D. I would not recommend it at all. Hi, I'm Dr. Brian Young. Do you think it's worth it? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and leave me a like. Hit the notification bell if you want to stay up to date, and share this video with someone you know can use the info.